everybody, welcome back. You've just seen me paint the blue, and the reason I painted that blue is because I want to get the new port lights on. I still have to do the white on the inside over there, but I've had a bit of a problem, and that problem is something that's been annoying me, and I think I've mentioned it in a couple of videos, and that is how these things have cracked. These things have cracked in weird places all the way around over there. They've just broken. And these screws are not actually tightened. These screws, I can just take them off with my finger like this. They're just there to hold on. Whereas the older ones, even though they were in a fire, they never cracked. And I'm trying to figure out why. When I had a look at, I still got two from the original batch that we bought like 4 years ago. And the plastic on the new ones is like harder. It's a more, I don't know if you can hear it. It's a more sort of a cheaper sort of, I don't know, a cheaper sort of plastic. But here's the weird thing. I put this outside. This has been outside for about 20 minutes in the sun, and it now doesn't fit at all through the hole that I took it out of. It's expanded such that it actually doesn't fit through that hole. So that's useful to know, because although I have allowed for expansion on all of these, it's only like a mil or so, 1.5 mil. They fit snugly, but there is space to expand. So that's an interesting lesson. I will then have to make these holes quite a bit wider. So that's what I'm going to plan to do today. And if I'm able to get the white interior paint done so that can dry, and in the next 2 days or so, when it's properly done, fit this and put the Sikaflex in and be done with these portholes once and for all. Right, so now we wait for that to dry. We also wait for that to dry on the outside. The wind is picking up quite a bit, and we're looking at 40 knot gusts in the next 2 hours or so. So I don't want to do any more painting, definitely not. It's a really hot day today. It's super, super hot. I'm sweating like a stuffed pig. But the wind helps take that a little bit down, but it also blows everything onto your fresh coat of paint. Very likely in the next couple of weeks, probably next week, once that's properly dry, I'll give it a very light sand, like a 200 grit, and give it its final top coat. I'll pick a really nice day for that. Also, that'll allow me to then do the non-skid. As for the aft section and the side section of the deck, that sanding that I've just completed has revealed a couple of spots where it still doesn't look very good. I'll have to go fair over that. But again, I'm thinking of getting a skim coat of white primer over that, using it as some kind of a a guide coat, just a very light rubbing to seal all of that fairing, and then I'll have a better idea of just how much fairing I need to. Obviously I don't want fairing like this thick. You don't need that. That's not the role of fairing. You can do that with thickened epoxy and glass and build up the layers. That's actually the correct application. But fairing will give you a very light skim coat over everything. It will help you fair the deck. I'm not going to get it any better. If you guys looked at videos from 3 years ago, probably on my Instagram, because I was maybe not doing it all on YouTube. I didn't record everything. But if you look at the Tide Less Travel Instagram, you'll see a lot of the early pictures of some of those deck repairs, and this is about as good as I'm going to do it without cutting the deck out and starting from scratch, which we obviously could not do. That means I'm probably going to go home. Tomorrow I will mix up, well, I'm not sure, I think tomorrow is also heavy winds. Tomorrow I'll try though, I'll mix up the primer, and then I'll prime that whole section over there, and then this cupboard at the bottom here for the batteries. That's something I keep putting off because there's always other things happening, and make hay while the sun shines. So this leaves us with a fairly good representation of what it's going to look like. I think it came out okay. It isn't too bad. It looks fairly straight. Everywhere I've sanded looks good. It probably needs a second coat, although I've discovered you don't always need that. I think overall it's come out really, really well. There are small imperfections here and there. So over here you can sort of see a few bumps, and up ahead, literally over there, is an area that I need to fair and sand down. But once I've removed all of those bumps, I think it'll be good enough and ready for top coat. Can't wait for that. It doesn't look like much, but getting that priming done all the way down the port side aft is a massive step. So I use that now as a guide coat. So I'll give it till tomorrow. I'll come along and I'll just look for high spots. I'll sand those back. I'll come through with a little bit of fairing compound, and I'll just fix tiny little areas and then sand those back. That'll be it for that side, and then I can focus solely on the full aft section of the boat, which there's a few small repairs I still need to do. An area of tow rail way at the back that I haven't removed because I ran out of cutting cutters for my multi-tool. Some of those blades, mine got horribly broken, but I have those now, so I can finish that maybe tomorrow. Alright, so this is what I mean by guide coat with the white, and then I come through and I do just the smallest little bits just to fix up the areas that absolutely need it. This will get sanded back. Here's a perfect example of the kind of imperfections that you wouldn't have seen otherwise. Which is perfect. Same thing goes for all over here and over here, just the lightest bit. So that's me done. I'm going to pack up. I still have to find a solution for here. So this was a temporary job. This now needs to be built up, not with fairing. I need to glass it, clean it, and then that'll be that pleat properly done. Probably not this week, but probably the week after. What's next? Yeah, I've got to finish all of this, and unfortunately I don't have any thickened epoxy, so I don't have any fumed silica to mix in to make thickened epoxy. So I have to go to the store Monday or Tuesday and see if I can procure myself some of that stuff. Man, it's hot today. That should dry pretty quickly. That means tomorrow, sanding. And sanding it is. I basically just did a very light sanding over everything with a 150 grit or a 180 grit, I forget. Just to knock it down a touch and run my hand over it and smooth it over. Generally, I'm pretty happy with this. There's clearly more little spots that I could do, but I'm not going to be able to go over this and get sort of perfection. I removed this old mast and put it away, watched the raging storm come in, which unfortunately has rather ruined our plans for the rest of the week. So this is the weather that we're going to be expecting for the next 3 days. 40 knot gusts, 45 knot gusts, pretty much constantly. Like, yeah. So I'm probably going to sign off the video here. This week's going to be a shorter video. There is obviously still a lot going on, and I will continue documenting that, and I'll continue doing it. I don't have the ability to paint. I can't paint in this weather. Downstairs is just rocking. It's been a really hectic day and a very hectic night. So I'm going to love and leave you until next week. Thank you everybody for watching. I'll see you then. Bye.